Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of Introduction on Reading Disability in Literature by Clark Barker. Disability in literature is not just as physical or mental difference, but it is the source of meaning. And in this book, Barker emphasizes that reading disability helps us question what is normal, and it also opens up new ways to understand human experience, human identity, and human diversity. Literature shows how non normative bodies and minds shape stories, characters, and culture. Disability is a constant presence in literary history. In an old Norse poem, Havamal, a verse says, "A lame person can ride, a person without hands can herd animals, a deaf person can fight well, better to be blind than dead." All this shows positive qualities in disabled people. Literature usually adds a comment about what the disability means or represents. In Shakespeare's Richard III, Richard's disability is linked to his evil character, so the real focus becomes his villainy and not his actual disability. In Moby Dick, Ahab's missing leg symbolizes his mad obsession. In Jane Eyre's, Rochester's blindness shows themes of love and care. In Of Mice and Men, Lenny's simplicity represents innocence. In the 1990s, scholars began studying disability in literature seriously. The goal was to challenge harmful metaphors, show real disabled experiences, reread old text through a disability aware perspective. And some early disability studies texts that started the modern study of disability literature are Leonard J. Davis's Enforcing Normalcy, Rosie Maria Garland's Thomason's Extraordinary Bodies. And the authors who studied normalcy are Davis's Normalcy and Garland Thomas's The Normate. And the problem is not the disabled person. The problem is how the society defines what is normal. The normate is a culturally constructed identity. People who fit certain standards, that is, whether it is body standards or mental standards and cultural advantages, are given power and authority. In reality, very few people actually match this normal construction which is formed by the society. And disability is therefore not just a body difference, but disability is a product of cultural rules about bodies. Literary characters with disabilities are often metaphors. Generally, they become criminals because of disfigurement or they become heroic for overcoming limitations. Ableism joins other systems like patriarchy, racism, sexism, homophobia, and colonialism. Disability studies help analyze and challenge these systems in literature and culture. In narrative prothesis by Mitchell and Cinder, disability is often used as a crutch for storytelling. Stories lean on disability to create plot or character impact, make metaphors or dramatic tension, add analytical insight. And this shows a dependence of literature on disability both as a character trait and as a metaphor. Since the 1990s, literary and cultural disability studies has grown a lot. Tobin Seber's Disability Aesthetics, Atto Aesthetic Nervousness, and this study shows how disabled bodies and minds change the aesthetic. Disability creates tension or nervousness in stories. It affects structure of text, symbolism, ethical impact. And focus is now beyond positive or negative portrayals. Here, disability is seen as a complex and multi-layered. Reading, writing, or performing literature is embodied. Stammer, cognitive differences, sign language, or assistive tech can change how a story is told or read. Thinking about disability aesthetics helps understand what stories look like, how poems sound, and what is considered beautiful. Disability comes from inaccessible society, not the body itself. Scholars add nuances like complex embodiment. The body and its representation transforms each other. Cultural model, disabled bodies are materials and meaningful, giving insights into culture and society. And the new critical approaches are John and Mecker says Cripstemologists, that is, question what we know about disability, challenge assumptions in the field. Literary disability studies now explore feelings, emotions, and human experiences, both positive and painful. Research field now covers many literatures like global, indigenous, medieval, contemporary, and many genres like romance, TV, comedy, autism narratives, and historical and cultural context. Journal of Literary and Cultural Disability Studies helps publish new research and build a community of scholars in this field. Studies now look at how disability interacts with literature, audiences, and society, including medical, political, and economic contexts. Earlier studies focused mostly on physical disabilities, but now disability studies also include mental health, cognitive differences, intellectual differences, and disability is studied as a broad, complex spectrum. Disability is never separate from other identities like race, gender, sexuality, and class. Truman Capote's disabled characters also have queer identities. Toni Morrison's beloved links physical difference to race. Intersectional criticism shows disability is central, not marginal to literature. Contemporary disability theory and criticism shows Garland Thomas's studies how being starred at is part of disability experience. Mecker and Kafer connect disability and cure experiences. They use scripting as a method to reinterpret text critically. Disability studies also connect to eco-criticism and environmental humanities, animal studies, and topics like toxicity and environmentally causing illnesses. Disability studies now include non-Western perspectives. Post-colonial studies highlight Western biases in disability research. Jasper Pure shows that global disability experiences are affected by poverty, precarity, and structural inequality. Studies examine how budget cuts, austerity, and neoliberal politics affect disabled people. Work productivity, citizenship, and academia intersect with disability. Researchers now use literary analysis along with critical theory, cultural commentary, and qualitative research. Disability provides new ways to read and interpret literature. Michael Davidson calls this a disability optic, that is, a way to read literature through the lens of disability. It challenges assumptions of compulsory able bodiedness, reimagining the humanities with an aimless Venus de Milo, a crippled Oedipus, a mad woman in the attic. Disability can be transmitted critical category in literary studies. The first half of the structure of the companion is organized by time periods and co-literary subjects. It shows how disability representation changes over history and culture. It also highlights how definitions of disability differ in medieval, 18th century, and modern and post-colonial literatures. Second half is organized by contemporary critical ideas like topics which include disability, life writing, that is autobiography, genre literature like science fiction and romance, race, queer culture, intersexuality, women's writing, and rhetoric shows how disability interacts with other identities and social categories. The word disability cannot capture all experiences. Ellen Samuels' disability is not fixed or obvious, ability to fluctuate. Literature is perfect for exploring these complexities because it combines aesthetics, characterization, genre, and narrative. It creates rich webs of meaning about human bodies and minds. Studying disability in text does not burden disabled people with research demands. Literature reflects social context through imagination and crafted stories. Texts show belief and practices about bodies and minds in creative ways. The term companion suggests care, understanding, advocacy, and recognition. Reading and writing improve when approached with care. This companion aims to be educational, transformative, a way to understand, connect, and advocate for disability in literature. Disability in literature is everywhere but often symbolic. Modern scholarship emphasizes real experiences, intersexuality, ethics, aesthetics, and social critique. Literary disability studies show how social defines normalcy, how literature represents and critiques disability, and how disability can transform critical thinking. Literature helps us understand human difference, challenge stereotypes, and foster social justice and recognition. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.